I'm tired. I'm just tired. Yeah. Daytona happened. Absolutely nothing went wrong with Daytona. Absolutely glorious. It from start to finish, there were no issues whatsoever. Of course I'm lying. It's NASCAR in 2022 and a super speedway. Of course everything went off the rails. Now usually nowadays whenever super speedway races get postponed by rain, you know that everything, like I said, is going to go off the rails. And surprisingly, for the first two stages, it was relatively calm. I mean, you had some crashes, but it was some really solid racing. Very aggressive, but intense and exciting super speedway racing. Now, of course, you had some crashes, and it even involved the two drivers that were fighting to stay in the playoffs, like Ryan Blaney and Truex Jr. With 5 to go, Eric Jones with handling problems finally takes over. Denny Hamlin hits the back end of Jones, sending him sideways, causing an accordion effect involving 7 cars, including Ryan Blaney. 6 other drivers were also involved, like Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, a driver who was trying to fight his way into the playoffs, Christopher Bell, Eric Jones, and Ty Gibbs. But Blaney had, in terms of drivers that were trying to get into the playoffs, had the worst damage in his situation. And from that point on, he was just surviving to make it to the end. Stage 2, again, very aggressive racing. Again, it was really calm the first 2 stages. You had a couple moments, like Chris Buescher getting out of shape and nearly spinning himself out, but outside of that, everything was fairly calm. Then stage 3 happened. I think when stage 3 happened, everything just went out the window. You had rain, NASCAR officiating, and of course, big crashes. Truex Jr., the other driver that's trying to stay into the playoff spot, he gets involved in a crash at the beginning of stage 3. On the backstretch, McDowell and Reddick weren't lined up properly. McDowell gets sent to the wall, collecting Corey LaJoie. Truex Jr. gets hit by Ross Chastain, then blows a tire which explodes the right front fender of his car, and then Chris Buescher involved as well as William Byron. Now, Truex's damage wasn't as severe as Blaney, and Blaney, it looked like he could barely get the thing rolling. I mean, it was that damage. As long as Truex, kept his ground, as long as he was able to stay out of any other trouble, he'd be okay. But again, this is Daytona we're talking about. Lap 125, Briscoe makes a move off of turn number 4, then gets hit by Alex Bowman, sending him around, collecting numerous cars, including Bubba Wallace, another driver trying to fight his way into the playoffs, Austin Dillon, another driver, and many more. The 2 rookies of Burton and Gilliland, Cole Custer, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And then 21 laps to go came. But before we go into that, I want to go a lap prior. This video of a fan at the racetrack, this is what he said regarding the conditions on the racetrack. Because remember, around this time, rain was imminent. It was coming. It was coming fast.
Of course, it gets let down. Oh my God. Oh, they're going to crash. It's raining. It's raining. It's raining. It's raining. It's raining. Suarez, come on. Suarez, come on! It's raining! Throw the yellow! Suarez, come on, rain!
So yeah, apparently there was rain. Rain on the racetrack. That's fine. NASCAR should throw the caution, right? Nope. 21 to go. A pack of cars entered turn number 1. It was like almost instantly everyone spins, everyone crashes. It looked like the entire field was involved. I had flashbacks of 2014 where it seemed as though everybody and their mother was involved in this crash. You had a 17-car pileup. Harvick, Reddick, Elliott, Almirola, Hamlin, Hemrick, Buescher, Kyle Busch, Burton, Wallace, Haley, Dillon, Jones, Stenhouse Jr., Cody Ware, Noah Gragson, and Daniel Suarez were all involved in that crash. All but one. Austin Dillon somehow was able to sneak his by, like the parting of the Red Sea just opened up to Austin Dillon, who was able to scoop by with no issues, no damage. And as soon as he went by, bam, downpour all over the racetrack. Race stopped due to rain. Now there was a lot of controversy with this one, obviously, because you had some drivers like Kyle Busch were saying that the rain happened out of nowhere and NASCAR couldn't really control that. NASCAR themselves were saying that they really couldn't control the rain. However, other drivers like Justin Haley and Chris Buescher were saying that it was raining. It was raining. Why isn't caution being thrown? And there's even an onboard camera I'm going to show. Listen to Brett Griffin.
Here it comes again. Here comes help finally. And it just started raining up here. Work hard, man. Work hard.
So he's saying it's raining. He's saying it's raining. And they were right before they entered the tribal. They haven't entered turn 1 yet. And Brett Griffin is saying it's raining. I mean, Haley and Griffin were irate and understandable. You had also numerous drivers that were just incredibly disappointed with NASCAR's officiating as a whole. Denny Hamlin commented on this.
What can be done about this?
Do you have lightning in the area?
All I can say is just better officiating. That's all we can do. Is just, like New Hampshire, just we'll learn from this, I'm sure.
Are you okay? Are you okay, Denny?
They called you down to pit road, and are you okay? Because
well, I mean, obviously they should have called us down. I mean, it was raining down the front, but it's just that's what we got. No, it's just my whole body. It's just literally my jaw hurts. I feel like my jaw is like one of those boxers that just gets his whole face demolished. But that was it's certainly the first real big one I've had in this car, and everything they've been telling us is all the other drivers is true. It's legit.
Yeah, also, that's also very concerning that Denny Hamlin said that he felt like a boxer got punched in the jaw, and that it is confirmed what drivers are saying, that the hits these days are much harder than they were in the Gen 6 car. I was under the impression that maybe this next gen car, because it's more durable, it's more stable when it comes to smaller hits, but when it comes to bigger hits, it gives more. Apparently not the case. No, just overall, this next gen car is it's more stiff. There's less crush zones than the Gen 6 car. Very concerning. Now, Brett Griffin, want to bring him up again because he tweeted about it saying, I said it was raining before he went into turn 1 because it was on the roof. I don't know exactly when I said it or where he was when I said it, but I said it. I also said don't lift for any reason because I thought a caution would come any second. It didn't, then it did. So yeah, this whole thing is a complete it's a shit show. It is. Because you have a fan that's at the racetrack saying it's raining while they're on the backstretch. They're not even in turn 1 yet. They're on the backstretch. You have Brett Griffin saying it's raining. Haley said it was raining, but then he said he got his laps mixed up. Buescher on the radio, Chris Buescher on the radio, he said it was raining. Kyle Busch saying it wasn't raining. And it's just, the whole thing was just an absolute mess. And it really, and we're going to talk more about this later on, but man, Super Speedway racing just as a whole has just, but anyways, the rain delay lasted, I think 3.5 hours. I didn't think they would go back to racing, but they did. 20 laps to go. I think there was maybe 15 cars on the lead lap. I think there was only 2 or 3 drivers that had 0 damage, that weren't involved in a single accident. One of them, I think, was Austin Cindric. But yeah, now you have a situation where Austin Dillon is leading. Cindric is one of maybe, I think, 2 or 3 cars. I think BJ McLeod and David Reagan were other cars that didn't have any damage, now in the mix to win the race. But Dillon is the only driver that would really benefit from this one, as if he would win the race, he'd be locked himself into the playoffs. But now you have another situation between Blaney and Truex. Truex now has more damage to his car. Blaney, we already know the situation he's in. Truex has a giant parachute on the side of his car, so he cannot keep up with the rest of the pack. And they are separated between, I think, 4 or 6 points. Now, obviously, if Austin Cindric were to win, both would be in. But if Dillon wins, Truex would be out, Blaney in. But when we got back to green, Cindric was the one that was able to get out ahead of Austin Dillon with Castle, Truex, and Kyle Busch to top 5. Then Dillon decides to go full-on intimidator mode and just punt Austin Cindric out of the way in turn number 1 to then take the lead. Completely splits up the front group pack. Now you got Reddick, his teammate, right behind him. Reddick is already locked into the playoffs, so he's basically going to do everything he can to block anyone to prevent them from catching up to Austin Dillon, because Reddick, of course, wants his teammate in the playoffs. But this time you have Castle, Gregson, Reagan, Cody Ware, and Austin Cindric, drivers that have 0 damage or very little damage to their cars, now right on their tails. But they tried their best to make a move, but it wasn't happening. Austin Cindric was able to hold them off and win at Daytona in the Coke Zero Sugar 400 for his third win of his Cup Series career, his second win at Daytona. Breaks, I believe, a 79 race winless streak that dates back to Texas in July of 2020. But most importantly, is in the playoffs. But since he's in the playoffs, Truex Jr., who had been losing spots because his car was so slow, couldn't keep up, losing positions, he is now out. He was bumped out of the playoffs, loses it by 3 points. Yep, just 3 points. 3 points he was out from making into the playoffs. What's crazy about this one is had Truex made into the playoffs, he would have been the 5th seed. He would have been 5th in the playoff standings had he made it. He earned 14 playoff points this year, including 7 today. And yeah, he would have been in the playoffs. So yeah, these are the 16 drivers now that will compete for the 2022 NASCAR Cup Championship. Really, only 8 of them have any shot of it. Austin Dillon banks it in, 16th seed, but he will be out in round number 1. Chase Elliott plus 33, Logano plus 18, Chastain plus 13, Larson plus 12, and then we get into the single digits like Byron plus 7, Hamlin and Blaney plus 6, Harvick and Reddick plus 5, Bell plus 4, Kyle Busch plus 3, and Briscoe holds the final spot at the moment plus 2 ahead of Daniel Suarez, Alex Bowman, Austin Cindric both minus 3, and Austin Dillon minus 4, but like I said, Dylan's probably going to get out at round 1. And also here's a look at the results. So RCR 1 and 2 once again, kind of a funny little moment there that both the past 2 wins for Austin Dillon were both 1-2 finishes between him and Tyler Reddick. Cindric, Castle, and Gregson, the top 5 great runs for 4th and 5th place. Cody Ware, I believe a career best of 6, McLeod 7th, Truex 8th. Unfortunately, wasn't enough. Reagan in 9th, Kyle Busch the top 10, Bubba Wallace 11th. Other notables like Ty Gibbs 13th, Blaney finished 15th somehow. Other drivers, these drivers were, I think from 17th on back, were all involved in accidents or was out due to accidents. Jones, Dillon, Burton, Harvick, Almirola, Stenhouse, Gilliland, Suarez, Hamlin, Hemrick. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, Larson started first, but retired after 5 laps due to engine issues. But outside of that, all the others were involved in accidents. This race, caramba. I mean, what'd you expect? Super speedway racing, it is what it is. It's just, they race like animals out there. It's a crapshoot. It's literally Russian roulette. And the fact that it's the regular season finale doesn't help. It doesn't help. Like, I will never like Daytona being the regular season finale. I think it's a bad decision because all it does is promotes chaos. It promotes crashes. It just promotes everything wrong with super speedway racing. The fact that it's a Russian roulette, the fact that, super speedway racing can be really good, really entertaining, a unique form of racing. But when NASCAR puts these drivers in a position where, hey, it's the regular season finale and this winning you're in stuff, having a super speedway, it's like, of course, it's just going to be carnage and chaos. And yeah, like stage 1, stage 2 were actually entertaining. I'm not going to deny that. They were actually good racing, but just everything about it, from the officiating to the stipulations and all this stuff. I mean, I don't want to hear anything about, oh, he had 25 or 26 races to get into the playoffs. Honestly, anyone that says I can just piss off from here, it's just, I don't know. It's a feeling that it's just, I don't like it. I don't like the feeling. I mean, I know it is what it is. That's how it's going to be. And NASCAR's not going to change it, but that don't mean I still don't like it. Yeah, I'm just mentally drained from this entire race. I mean, everything from the officiating, I still can't. I mean, if I'm going to go by the fan in the stand that was actually at the racetrack and can feel drops when they're on the back straightaway. He's chanting, "It's raining." I mean, I know it's a fan, but still, he's chanting it's raining, and yet there's NASCAR saying, no, there was no rain. There was no rain. Now, again, some drivers are saying it was raining, some weren't. I don't know. Just put it back in July, man. Just for God's sakes. Anyways, what would I give this race? I'm not giving this race a rating. I'm just happy it's done. I'm just glad it's done. Everything was going good until 20 to go when the rain came and just everything went just off the rails. But yeah, what y'all think of this race? Did you like it somehow? I mean, I like stage 1, stage 2, but other than that, no. But yeah, what y'all think of this race? Did you like it somehow? If you did, tell me why. If you didn't, I don't blame you. Next week is Darlington. Hopefully, hopefully we're all going to see some good racing in Darlington, which is nice to see. But yeah, just every time we go here, especially under this type of stipulation, it's just, it's never going to end well. It's never going to end well. Yeah, congratulations to Dillon. How about that? Back to Victory Lane Daytona. Thank y'all so much for watching. My name is Jet. See you next time.